So today we're going to talk about witchcraft compared to spirituality, the difference between the two, as well as the appropriation of witches, Wicca, things that specific religion where they recognize themselves as such, compared to how people talk about witchcraft. Compared to what people associate with what witchcraft is, right? It's important to recognize the actual or civilization, spiritual civilization. When I say civilization, I'm talking about organized construct, meaning that they have an order for things, a structure for how to do things, as well as like logistics compared to why they do what they do. That's why I call it civilization rather than just religion, because people feel some way when you just say that, right? So spiritual civilization is the same thing. So first of all, when you want to speak about witches and witchcraft, you need to be, and when you're discussing with people, you need to be articulating if they're talking about the actual spiritual civilization of a practice, or if they're talking about a malpractice of spiritual work. You understand? Now, it's important to make that distinction because, like I said, there are spiritual organizations, spiritual civilizations who recognize just their spiritual practice as witchcraft. You understand? That's just what they associate their work because they recognize themselves as witches. It's no different than Christians calling themselves Christians, right? The work the name that they use for themselves is witches, right? And like most spiritual civilizations that are actually effective in instilling faith, like I said in my last video, or actually getting people what they need, right, in a way that's going to prohibit predatory governmental ruling to victimize them. How about this? It's going to be stigmatized, right? It's going to be stigmatized negatively. There's going to be stories and rumors around to try to demonize that spiritual civilization, right? So it's important to recognize when you're speaking to people and they're speaking to witchcraft, are they just continue on the stigma and the persecution of people who were employing their right to connect to spirit, to organize and connect to spirit their way, and they're just, what's the word for being discriminatory? Or are they speaking of the actual malpractice that a lot of us, that is real, right? And that a lot of us associate and call witchcraft, right? And the reason why I speak of it that way is because when we're speaking of witchcraft compared to actual spiritual work, witchcraft is more when you are utilizing like psychology, utilizing people and organizations to prey upon people to validate your belief systems, right? That's how define that, right? It's when there are people who are organized, right, to, like, when I said in the last video, a business, right? So I seen a video where someone was like, she was speaking to someone in a specific spiritual religion, right? Religious community, and the lady was telling her that she thought that someone put witchcraft on her. And a lot of times with those stories that you'll see people, whenever I hear people talking about that, and especially online, they're talking about there's witchcraft put on me, witchcraft put on me. First of all, when you have a spiritual practice, any type of actual spiritual practice, you know that you have protection from spirit, right? You understand that there's no work that someone can do to impact you when you have spiritual protection, right? There are spiritual laws that work to protect you, right? So typically, if you're actually feeling like someone is putting work on you, it's less about the actual, less about them getting into your head and putting spiritual hoaxes on you more than it is people actually organized to uphold those belief systems and planting things, or like I talked about this a while ago, trying to intimidate you, driving by your house, maybe it could go depending on how deep it is, right? It goes hacking your devices, just getting calls to your jobs, seeing who they network with to kind of make them act a way to you socially, right? To to reinforce this idea that you are cursed or you're being spiritually attacked.